So here I am at Chanonry Point. Now, somebody was killed here. It was a guy known as the Brahan Seer. The Brahan Seer, his real name was Kenneth Mackenzie, so I'm just going to call him Kenneth Mackenzie, if that's alright with you. And he used to predict the future. It was like a Nostradamus, a Scottish version of a Nostradamus. And he used to predict the future by, he picked up stones off the floor called hag stones. You know them stones with holes in the middle of them? And I've said in a video in the past, I thought it was somebody drilling holes in it. It's called a hag stone, and he'd pick them up, look through the hole, and he'd have premonitions. He'd know things what were going to happen in the future. So this was back in the 1600s, and one of the premonitions he had, well, a few of them he had, I'll tell you a couple of them. They're not very good, I don't think. But one of them was, one day ships will sail around the back of Tomnahuprit Hill, and they've built the Caledonian Canal there now. So that came true, big deal. When 5 bridges cross the River Ness, there will be worldwide chaos. The 5th bridge fell down in August 1939, and then September 1939, that's when World War II started, so he got that one right. A lot of his predictions seem to be around bridges. The bridge at Bonner Bridge would be swept away under a flock of sheep. Now, in 1892, a flood swept away the bridge, and the white foam current was likened to a flock of sheep. So that's just a few of his predictions anyway. He got murdered. That's the best part of the story, really. He accused the Earl of Seaford of cheating on his wife with some girls from Paris. He said in the future that's what he's going to do. And his wife was absolutely furious, basically saying, well, number one, he'd never do that to me. He'd never cheat on me. He probably would have done. The prediction would have come true. And she was disgusted because it was putting their name, giving them a bad name. So she got this guy and had him tried for witchcraft. So they ended up putting him in a spiked barrel full of tar, setting fire to it and burning him as a witch type person. It's a true person, and this is where it happened. Right here. I don't know if it was here or over there. Might have been over there, but it was definitely right around here somewhere. You can imagine him screaming, can't you? In a barrel of tar on fire near a lighthouse, although that won't have been there then. Good morning, everybody. It's a sad day. It's a very sad day. It's my last day with me Martin and me Julie. We're going for a walk, a long walk, about a mile that way, to show you something pretty special. But yeah, it's a very nice. I'm very relaxed today because I've sorted myself out. I've got a nice campsite to stay on for the next 3 nights. I've got electric to my tent. There's a washing machine, I can do my washing. I've got so many videos to edit, it's untrue. And once I've done that, get back into the metal detecting, and everything's going well. Everything's going really well, but it's quite a serene feeling today. I'm feeling a bit sad. A bit sad. You know, who's going to cook me tea? Who's going to look after me? Who's going to buy me toilet roll for me? But we'll make the most of it. We're going to have a good morning, aren't we? Yeah. Yep. So that was the tallest tree in Britain, at 204 feet tall, the Douglas fir. Well, actually it wasn't, because we took the wrong trail and we didn't find it. I think we were meant to go the other way. No worries, I'll show you a picture of it, yeah. So here is the walk we've just done, from pretty much there to 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 there. Back at the car park now. The tallest tree is here, and whilst we were in that area I did point out, I said, oh, that one's quite tall over there, over the river, and I reckon it was that one. But that, my friends, is all you're going to see of the tallest tree, because it were a long way. What a great start to the day, eh?
Well, we have seen it.
Yeah, we have seen it. We've seen the tallest tree in the UK.
It's one of those ones.
So this one's very interesting. It's about the story of a guy called Simon the Fox. That's how he was known. Simon the Fox, or Simon Fraser as his real name. He was a Scottish Jacobite and leader of the Fraser clan. Very important person. So as I say, he was a Fraser and he was the 11th Lord of Lovett. Now some of you might recognise that name, them names put together, Lovett and Fraser. That's because he is actually a character in the TV programme Outlander. It's based on these Frasers, of Lovett, this Lovett thing. I've never watched it, I'll be honest with you, don't know anything about it. But it's based, he is one of the characters in that, and this is where he's buried. So why is he well known? What's so special about him? He was known for basically changing sides. He was on the side of the crown, the king type thing, and then he changed sides and picked the sides of he picked the Stuarts who were fighting against the crown. I think it was a matter of whoever's winning, I'm going to be on their side. It was on the sides of the Stuarts against the crown at the Battle of Culloden, which they lost, and he got caught and convicted of treason. So they took him to London and beheaded him. Now that's the most fascinating part of this story as far as I'm concerned. I'll get into that. But whilst they were beheading him, one of the stands, you know, the viewing stands where all the spectators were, it collapsed and 20 people died. So 20 people died going to see somebody die. That's a bit ironic, really. But the reason it's so special is he was the last man to ever be beheaded in Britain. No one's been beheaded since then. Yet the law, it didn't come into law that you cannot behead someone until 1973. How amazing is that? So from the 1700s right up to 1973, a judge could have still sentenced someone to death by beheading them, cutting their head off, but they didn't. And he was the last one. And what I like so much about this story is we've just been so lucky today to come at the right time when the main guy's in here and he's opened up the crypt for us, and we've actually seen the coffins. Wow, that's all I can say. Wow. I thought we were just going to see like the headstone of him, like the memorial sign, which is above us, but we've actually got into the crypt where the bodies are. So this is Simon Fraser, the actual man we're talking about. And they're doing DNA tests to try and prove, they're looking for a living relative, female relative, to prove that that is him. They've been doing this for about a year now. They're trying to get a TV show sorted out so that they can raise awareness and raise funds to repair things. Over here you've got his wife, Jane, and they're actually in these coffins. They're not empty, they're in the coffins. And here you've got two of his two sons. Obviously that one was an elder son, but this poor thing, a little baby, there is the skeleton of a little baby in there. That's awful. And in here is the last ever Lord Lovett, the last Lovett. As you can see, this coffin is open here, and apparently there is a body in there. So he was called Simon the Fox because he was sly, you know, changing sides from the crown to the Stuarts, fighting against the crown. He was known as the most sly, devious man in Scotland. So that's the story of Mr. Fraser, leader of the Frasers. I like that. I just like the fact I got into the crypt and saw his tomb. That was amazing. So now we're at Beauly Priory. We've come here because apparently somebody was allowed to fish here without a licence. Well, that's just part of the story. Some monks came here and they could what did they do? They could fish with...
They could fish freely the rivers.
They could fish freely the rivers, which you can't do nowadays. You have to have a licence. So how they got away with it without a licence, I don't know. Mind you, it didn't say that they didn't have a licence. Maybe they did have to get a licence. If you need a licence for fishing, you can usually get them at the post office. So Beauly Priory was founded by Alexander II, the King of Scotland, who he was crowned on top of the Stone of Destiny. You know, we've talked about that before. He was actually sat on top of the Stone of Destiny, and he founded this. So the name Bewdley means beautiful place. That's quite nice, because it is beautiful around here. It's a lovely, lovely little... Would you say it's a village or a town? It's a large village. It's very nice because it's got an Indian takeaway over the road. I might check that out tomorrow night. Quite fancy an Indian. I haven't had one of them in a long time. Anyway, that's not very historic. So it was built in about 1230 for some monks, and they were called the monks of the Valley Scallion. And Valley Scallion means the Valley of Cabbages in French. How strange is that? The Valley of... Oh, we've got some priests coming over to Scotland. Oh, which priests are them? Oh, it's them from the valley with all the cabbages in it. This is the part of the story I can't understand. The monks from here, they had strict ideals of poverty, chastity and obedience. Why would you have strict ideals of poverty? Why would you want to live in poverty? So the monks here, the cabbages thought we should all live in poverty. Makes sense really, because cabbages are really cheap. It's not, you know, they weren't known as the turnips, the monks of the turnips, because they're a lot more expensive than cabbages. This is what I love about travelling around. Things link together. Now, can you remember when we went to Ardwick Castle and the Mackenzies took over the castle and he brought his wife there, but she didn't like the castle, so he built called a house right next to it. He was Kenneth Mackenzie. He's buried here. He's buried here. I had no idea. The tomb of Sir Kenneth Mackenzie of Kintail, died 1491. Oh my God, you can see him. I don't think I'll be able to get a good picture of this, but you can see a tomb in there with him lying on top, you know, like a stone sculpture of him. So that's inside the priory, and as people would leave, they would wash their hands in here. This is the holy water stoop. Look at the colour of the water. Honestly, I'd wait till I went home. Use some proper soap. Wouldn't rely on that. I just have to point this out. There's a picture here of an artist's impression of how it would have looked in the early 1500s. If you look closely, count how many monks are in here. There's 9. 9 monks in the priory church. Number 9 again. And if you look on this side of the priory, you've got these windows here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 windows on that side of the priory. Number 9 is not going to go away until some premonition comes true. Something's going to happen with the number 9 and me. So the priory's over there. We're just walking back to the car and we've found a drunk monk. There you go. A monk of cabbages. Hello guys, it's throwing it down here, but I don't care, Right, well, the video which was published last night was the one with, was it Henry or Harry? I think it was Henry, the farmer, the Rays of Sunshine one. So I was expecting a few donations last night, and you didn't let me down. Christine Foster, £5. Anonymous. Deshriver Danny, again, £19. Andrew Very, Andrew, £50. Drew Dack, £10. Iron Mike, £10. Chris and Rose Sadowski, $30. Anonymous. Buddy Chatrand, $30. Anonymous, €20. CJ Withers, $30. Damien Jones, £20. A Cow, £5. Artie, again, $10. Torbjorn, again, £9. So, we raised £319 in the last 24 hours. We're now up to £47,405. We are now needing £49 per day for the next 53 days to reach our total. But that's just the money we've raised. Now, I haven't included gift aid in these amounts. Gift aid for you foreign guys is if you're in the United Kingdom and you pay taxes, if you have a job and you pay taxes, it gives you the option, would you like to pay gift aid? It doesn't cost you anything, the government pay it for you, because you pay taxes, they're willing to pay so much towards your charity. So that goes on, and from that, I'm not sure exactly how much it is, 2,000 and something, but if you add that onto what we've already raised, we've actually raised £49,973.67, with £26.33 away from raising £50,000. But I want to be able to say after this trip we've raised £50,000 without the government's help. So we need to keep going until my figure of £47,405 reaches 50,000. Not that we're stopping then. God, let's get it up to 100,000. Right, I have come up with the most amazing idea for my next trip. I can't tell you what. The only clues I'm going to give you about it, because I only thought of it last night and I keep changing my mind about what I'm going to do next. The only clues I'm going to give you is it could take 1 month, it could take 5 years. It could raise money for 0 charities. It could raise money for 100 charities. It could raise £300 for charity. It could raise £250,000 for charity. It will involve a wheel, a lot of travelling, and that's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's enough. Okay. Leave it at that. Thank you for donating, guys, and watching. Please keep the donations coming in. All the links are in the description. Go to diggingthecourse.com and click and donate all you can. Thank you very much on Digging the Course 3, 6, 5,